Hey, welcome! You ever wonder if there's some kind of hidden logic to the universe? Like a spiritual source code that explains not just why things are the way they are, but what our part is in the whole shebang? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the mystical teachings of Kabbalah to explore exactly that, the secret mechanics of reality, and the incredible power you have to change it.
All right, so we've got a 5-part journey mapped out for us. We'll kick things off with the soul's epic cycle through different lifetimes. Then, we're going to put on our detective hats and uncover a hidden code. After that, we'll look at the first great system crash in history, discover the secret plan for a total universal repair, and finally, bring it all home with the practical challenge to upgrade your own inner world.
So first up, let's talk about Pshat, the literal story. This is kind of our ground floor, the first layer of understanding. It's about seeing our existence not just as a one-time thing, but as this epic story that stretches way beyond a single lifetime.
You know, it's one of the biggest questions we can ask, right? And yeah, it can definitely feel like we're on a one-way trip sometimes. But this mystical perspective suggests that our reality is actually more like a spiral, a continuous journey of learning and growing.
And this whole journey has a name. It's called Gilgul. Now, this isn't just about coming back again and again. It's a really purposeful process. The best way to think about it is like a divine do-over, a chance for a soul to come back and fix the mistakes, heal old wounds, and complete the missions it didn't quite nail the first time around. It's all about spiritual repair, what we call Tikkun.
And what's wild is just how specific this process is. The ancient book of reincarnation gives this incredible example. There's a king, Abimelech, who makes a huge mistake involving a woman named Sarah. So even when he comes back in a new life, that karmic debt is still on the books. And how does it get paid? He ends up dying by the hand of a woman. I mean, that's a direct, almost poetic balancing of the scales across lifetimes.
Okay, so now we're going to level up. We're moving from just reading the story to hunting for all the hints that are hidden inside of it. The idea here is that the universe is constantly whispering its secrets, but only if we know how to listen.
So here's the key, the big secret. In this way of thinking, nothing is by accident. Every single letter, every word, and especially every acronym isn't just text. It's a key. It's like every letter is a key to a secret door, opening up a whole deeper layer of meaning. A hidden spiritual drama playing out just under the surface.
And get this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. A text called the Verse Gate points out this amazing little treasure hunt. These acronyms reveal a secret choice that was made. See, the spies were sent out with the energy of Leah, who mystically represents the big open world of mercy. But they chose to act with the energy of Rachel, which represents the tighter, stricter world of judgment. And that choice led to a total disaster.
All right, this is where we get to the heart of the conflict, the moment a spiritual bug got into the code of creation. And this wasn't just some small mistake. This was the event that changed the operating system of reality itself.
According to the Zohar, which is a foundational text of Kabbalah, the story of the serpent in the Garden of Eden was a full-blown cosmic event. The serpent didn't just offer some fruit, it injected a kind of spiritual static or impurity. Yeah, think of it like malware for the soul. It's called Zuama, right? Into the hardware of the world. It fundamentally altered human consciousness.
And you can totally see the before and after of this system crash right here. Before, humanity was clothed in these garments of pure spiritual light, and they had a direct, unfiltered connection to the divine. But after, that connection got veiled. Duality, good and evil, life and death, it all entered the picture, and the system now needed a complete overhaul. But that just raises a massive question. I mean, how could this possibly happen? With the fate of the entire world hanging in the balance, how could Adam make a choice with such devastating consequences? This sounds like a catastrophic failure of the entire system.
Okay, but hold on. Was it a failure, or was it a necessary feature? This other perspective argues that the crash was actually part of the original code. Without that huge choice and the very real possibility of getting it wrong, there's no real free will. There's no struggle, no overcoming anything, and no genuine growth. So maybe that bug was the very thing that makes our journey so meaningful.
So, okay, if the system crashed, what's the fix? How do we reboot it? This brings us to the deepest layer, Sod, the secret. This is the blueprint for cosmic repair, the actual source code that explains how we can reboot the entire universe.
So the mystics talk about the beginning of everything with this event. And honestly, it sounds a whole lot like a spiritual Big Bang. An infinite divine light poured into these finite vessels, or containers. But the light was just too powerful, way too intense, and the vessels couldn't take it. They shattered.
But this shattering, it wasn't just destruction. It was more like a dispersion. Get this. It scattered 288 holy sparks of divine light, all throughout the lowest levels of existence. These sparks fell into everything: rocks, plants, animals, even into our own day-to-day experiences. And they're still there, trapped, just waiting to be rescued. And that rescue mission? That's what we call Tikkun. This is the ultimate purpose of our lives. Every single time we act with kindness, with intention, with courage, every time we choose connection over separation, we're finding one of those trapped sparks, lifting it up and sending it back home to its source. We are literally, stitch by stitch, repairing the very fabric of creation.
So, how do we actually do this? We use what the mystics call the Sefirot, and you can just think of it as the divine operating system. It's this flow of energy, right? It starts with the divine will to create, that's Keter, that flows into a brilliant flash of an idea, Chakma, which we then develop with deep understanding, or Bina. From there, it flows into our actions through the expansive energy of kindness, which is Chesed, but it has to be balanced by the discipline of strength, Gevura. And all of that together creates the harmony and beauty of a perfected world, Tiferet. Our actions are what channel these divine energies to get Tikkun done.
So here's the bottom line, and this is huge. Your everyday choices, they're not small at all. They are cosmic events. The kindness you show a stranger, the focus you bring to your work, the patience you have with your family. Every single one is an act of universal repair.
Okay, wow. We've gone from the soul's epic journey all the way to the shattering of creation. So now, let's bring this whole cosmic story right down to earth with a practical, actionable lesson for our lives this week.
The actual tools we use for all this cosmic repair, they're called midot, your character traits. You can think of them as your internal dimensions, your capacity for kindness, your strength, your discipline, your sense of balance. The mystics teach that fixing the universe on the outside and fixing yourself on the inside, it's the exact same job.
So for this week's challenge, we're going to put Tikkun into practice. For real. We are going to find a fallen spark from our own recent past and consciously lift it up with a new, positive action.
Okay, so here's how you do it. Super simple. First, just think of one time in the last month where maybe you were a little bit stingy. Maybe you held back forgiveness when you could have given it, you were tight with your time, or you just missed a chance to be kind. That was a moment of contraction. So this week, your mission is to do one targeted act of generosity to repair that moment. Be expansive. Offer that forgiveness. Give your time freely to someone who needs it, or just show some totally unexpected kindness. And then, just notice. Notice how that one conscious act of repair changes how you feel on the inside.
Because really, if every single choice we make has the power to find a lost spark, to help heal the entire cosmos, it leaves us with one incredible question. What part of the universe will you choose to fix next?